Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's the trade of the day, Friday afternoon Zoom edition, and Bitcoin and Ethereum have mostly gone sideways, trending down. Lots of bad economic news this week. Bitcoin's just bounced above 19, but 20 seems forever away at this point. We'll see if we get a nice bounce over the weekend. But yeah, it's been disappointing. The Fed is relentless on its desire to get inflation in line. So another interest rate hike. Earlier this week, there was a meeting today where they were talking to, I think, heads of industries. I watched about 10 minutes of it. It was excruciating. So I thought I'd be able to trade off of that, but maybe it went positive because the market did trend up in the afternoon. So, but I couldn't make any sense out of it. So the market is still mostly trending down overall. One bright spot is XRP. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but for now, let's go ahead and go to the Bitcoin chart. Okay, you should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart. I don't have Craig here today to talk to me, so someone else is going to have to pitch in. Let me know. Can you see it?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so I did make a slight adjustment. I lowered the lower part of the range to 18.4 from 18.8 because we did have that close a couple days ago. Had a little bump up yesterday to almost 19.5, but then a drop again today. So hanging around 19K. We'll see if we can get a bounce off that lower part of the range. News-wise, yeah, I was looking at this earlier. There was really nothing to talk about as far as potentially good news. You know, people are talking drops down below 10K. I think that's unlikely, but obviously anything's possible. Ethereum is still within the range, didn't drop as much. Well, it had gone up more because of the merge, a bump that it had earlier in the month, actually in August. But so it's still above the bottom of the range by about 20% or so, but it has been trending down last week to 10 days. And XRP has been the darling. And here's why I think this one's had a nice move. Recent relief rally and summary judgment motions filed by Ripple. Now, as a paralegal for 23 years, I worked on federal court cases, none in the securities area, but I'm familiar with this process. And no legal opinions here, but how I see this is a bit misguided. This is a pretty common process in federal court cases. So what the side discovery is over though, so that is interesting. There's no more, legal theories or documents that can be exchanged at this point. If they're filing what the court calls dispositive motions or motions for summary judgment, what Ripple is saying, what their attorneys are saying is, look, here's all the discovery, everything you have to look at, and clearly, Your Honor, a reasonable person would look at this and conclude that that we are in the right, and then that the case should be dismissed. It's not a motion. It's not a motion to dismiss. That can happen for other reasons, including procedural ones. But all Ripple's attorneys have done is filed the motion for summary judgment. It doesn't mean they're going to win. It's hard to win a motion for summary judgment, though they tend to get granted in federal cases more than state court cases. But anyway, so I think the pump is just because they filed this motion. That's my theory. Don't trade off it or anything, but anyway, that's how I see it. Any questions on XRP or the markets overall, Bitcoin and Ethereum? Okay. Well, the weekend's coming up. Markets are trending up a bit. Let's go to the 5-minute and look at Bitcoin real quick. So we got a slight bump since this morning, about 2.5% on Bitcoin. And Ethereum is up a little bit too, I believe, on the 5-minute chart. Yeah, since I thought at 11 o'clock we would get a drop. We did get this candle here, but it didn't stay after that. 11 o'clock Pacific is when the Fed roundtable was going on, 2 p.m. Eastern. So on the contrary, maybe the news was good. Ethereum's up almost 4%. So I don't know if that's a relief rally or what's behind that, but it'd be nice to go into the weekend and have some pumping price action. I'll probably still do a short of some kind, but I haven't decided yet. Well, let's look at Altcoin Alert and see if we can find some trades, at least some charts to put upon which to put some alerts. And here we are on Altcoin Alert. I've got my altcoin radar reading. Easy mode is off, so I have all the information. I've done a sort by AA score. Makers at 79.7, so that's almost very bullish. I was looking at that earlier, but I'm going to refresh just to make sure we're current. All right, it's up almost 6% today. That's a nice move. And let's check it out. Okay, it's the 1 hour chart. The last 4 or 5 days up 11.5%. Good stuff. On the 5-minute, at the top of the Bollinger Band with the big bubble. I like this better if it were trending down here for a dip trade, but it might be too late for this move. With that in mind, let's try to catch a retrace and ride this pump. So how do we do that? Well, there's a couple ways to do it. We could look at support and try to find a price alert area. And I think I see one. Let me move this down. That's not what I want to do. Right around here. 645. And again, down here at about 635. So those are 2 potential areas to get in. But I don't like to do price alerts very often. I do them occasionally, but I mostly like to do my alerts on indicators. We'll do that next. Take these off. And I like to do that on a 15-minute chart if I'm feeling pretty good about the market. If I'm feeling less confident, I might go to the 30 or the 1 hour. But I'm gonna go with the 15 for now. And there's a couple indicators I like to use. I'm testing one down here at the bottom. I probably won't talk about that yet, but still got my money flow index, the MFI, relative strength index, the RSI, and the MACD, moving average convergence divergence. So these are my 3 favorite indicators to try to catch dips. I also like the Chandelier Exit for trends. It's a buy-sell indicator. I try to match up with some of the other indicators I have here. So that's my indicator overview. I've also got divergence for many indicators. All of these are free downloads on the Trading View indicators area. You can find these here. Divergence. That's this one, version 4. And Chandelier Exit. This one here by Everget. And the others are pretty common. Okay, so actually let's look at divergence first. Divergence is a disagreement between the candle action and the indicators. Got a bullish divergence here when the price actually went down, but the indicators went up. Usually that can have some predictive value, and that was a good one there. 5% move. This one here, the 21st, really good move there. So the last two bullish divergences have been good. And here's how I do an alert on one. I'm going to right click, add the alert. Divergence for, actually no. I want positive divergence detected. Once per bar close, that's important. AA score purchase, question mark. I have to put my information source in the alert name and create.
Hey, CJ.
Yeah.
So you say that once per bar close is important. Can you explain that?
Sure. Once per bar close is important on this type of indicator because it will repaint. So it'll flicker if the candle's still open. So like this one here is between 7 a.m. or probably started at 6:45 when this one ended. So you want to wait till the candle closes to make sure that the divergence is valid, because the coin could start there and it could show up and then it could shoot back up and the divergence goes away and then now you're kind of winging it. So I find this is I do this in pretty much any type of buy sell alert. It's also an issue in the Chandelier Exit. If this is the trend based indicator that I use. I also click 1 bar per close because this buy signal might go away if the candle does something different, by the time it closes. So, of course, the downside of that approach is you have to wait to see what it does to get in. So there's other people who prefer to do, once per bar, leave it at that. That way the alert stays on all day until you turn it off, and it'll show up whenever it flashes on the bar. But if the candle goes against you, on a 15-minute chart, that's possible because each candle's 15 minutes. Then that's why I like to do it that way. Okay, good question though. All right, so I took the divergence alert. If you're not comfortable with that concept and you want to stick to the tried and true indicators, I've used the RSI and the MACD since I started trading. I added the MFI when I started working with the carbon folks because they like it. And I like the idea that money flow is in it. So, but there's a lot of duplication with the MFI and the RSI. Sometimes the MFI is more sensitive, sometimes the RSI is more sensitive. And what we're looking for on trying to catch a dip trade is this kind of dip here and then a recovery. So, and I find that when this alert goes off after it dips, say below the 20, which is considered the oversold area, starts to come back. If I bounce over to the 5-minute chart, it's usually in a 1, 2, 3 dip sequence, usually a second or third dip by then. So that's pretty cool. Because there are some dip indicators, but they're not that reliable. I like this one better, or this approach better. I think I came up with it myself, but I'm not sure. I've seen hundreds of YouTube videos. Probably I subconsciously stole it, but regardless, let's look at RSI real quick. That's not what I want. Yeah, it didn't quite make it to oversold here. It's like 30.04. So the MFI is a little more sensitive, and that was a really nice move, up several percent on this MFI cross. And this one didn't quite drop low enough. This one did. So we could have gotten this in this one right about here. And again, a nice move. So If you prefer to do an MFI alert, crossing up on the 20 is the oversold sort of default for the MFI. Again, once per bar close for the same reason I just explained a little while ago to Nathan in his response to his question. And then you know, AA score purchase, what I would do with that. And you can do the same, similar with RSI, right click, add alert, crossing up on the 30 instead of 20. Once per bar close. Now, instead of using the 20 on the MFI and the 30 on the RSI, you can bump it up a little bit because it's like this one only went down to about 24.7. So you could have gone, could use a 25, but your entry won't be quite as good. Similar with RSI, you can use say 32 or 35 instead of 30. And I do that from time to time. Okay, and I use mostly the MACD for confluence, you know, just to make sure that everything's in order. Even doing all this, so you have no idea. Once you make the trade, you have no idea what it's going to do. We're just trying to make an educated guess. And TDFI stands for Trend Directional Force Index. It's how strong the trend is. I've messed around with the settings on this. I'm not entirely confident in it. I think it's a little too slow, especially in the default settings. I've increased these or decreased them, but if I have some success with this, and I've been using this for scalping, if I have some success with it and some of this, you know, day trading, I'll let you guys know. Okay, any questions on Maker?
Why wouldn't it be a good short?
Could be. Altcoin Alert is telling us that it has an 80.2% chance to go up 3% in the next 48 to 72 hours. That's part of the function of this software. But you have a point. It's up 5% today. If it were up double digits, I'd be more interested in a short on this.
I mean, because it's just at the top of the Bollinger Band, it's at the top of the RSI, it's at the top of the MFI. I mean,
yeah, I want to see this go up there and then drop below. Well, we can talk about this now since you brought it up. I usually talk about a potential short on Fridays. If you wanted to short this, there's a couple ways you can go about it. Go with bearish divergence, and none of these have done that well except this one. Well, even if you took this one, you would have been down 7% and then could have gotten out here. You probably would have had to ladder buy up here somewhere and then gotten out, maybe around here. Still overall not that great of a trade. On the Chandelier Exit, it's identified some pretty good retrace areas. That's less than 1%. This one was pretty good. Down about 2.6. Again, if you're shorting something, you're on leverage, probably, most people do that 5 to 10%. If you're new to it, stay in single digits, probably 2 or 3%. But these were, pretty good shorting candidates once they hit the top of the Bollinger Band on the 15-minute chart. Let's see on the 30. Yeah, not bad. The 15 looks pretty good. But overall it is trending up. So usually on a if I'm looking for a short, it's usually a crap coin I don't think has much of a future. And I'm looking to catch it in one of these pumps and then ride it back down. But But if you're just looking at the charts, and which is fine, probably just as likely to succeed. You know, this kind of approach is pretty good. If we want to look at our indicators, like the MFI, when it goes above the 80 and then drops below, you know, like happened here, you get that red candle. Yeah, it's a really good entry there, 4%. This one here was a smaller move. I think that's the one that was less than 1, yeah, 1.5, 1.2, not bad. Again, since you're probably trading with leverage on these, you can take smaller moves. 1% is great if you're at 10x leverage. That's a 10% trade. That's awesome. This one here dropped, then went up. It just kept going up. So that one, maybe you get stopped out or have to make a ladder buy. Ladder buying on shorts is a little dicey. And here was another one, went above the MFI. And then we just had, you know, doji candles here, indecisive. So probably would have waited until this one. But and kind of a wild ride, but it does, you know, get out at 5%. So yeah, there are some short possibilities in here.
But the danger is that Altcoin Alert is saying their indicator says it's going up. And so taking the chance of it going down, you're going to 85% of what they think is the other way.
Yeah, and you could trade it both ways. I mean, Altcoin Alerts, it's a 48 to 72 hour period.
Oh,
So there's
Altcoin,
probably
yeah.
going to be a 3 or 4% drop somewhere in that scenario.
Yeah.
So it's not a total deal breaker. And this software is, you know, pretty accurate, but it has struggled during the bear market. So, okay, any questions on Maker before we move on? 25 minutes in already. And the other one I was looking at is ALGO. See if that one's still here. Yeah, it's number 7, 77.1. And it had the spike this afternoon. So this one's intriguing. Let's look at the hour. And since the 18th, the last 5 days, it's up almost 40%. Not sure why. Here's why. They've hired a new CMO. Well, I'm not going to sit here and read this whole thing, but yeah, I'll check this out later. Might want to read this if you're gonna make this trade when the situation presents itself. So it's had a really nice move the last 5 days. New management, maybe that's had something to do with it. It's well above the top of the Bollinger Band now. You know, in a bull market, I like to take squeeze trades when they kind of go past the SMA line and then pump up a little bit. I used to do these all the time. I miss the bull market. Pick up these 1 and 2%ers, you know, 4 or 5 times a day. Okay, but we don't have that. It's way above. So again, we're going to look at our price action alerts. Let's see. Put this down here. I see support right about here. Touches here, here, and here on the 5-minute chart. 36.9 cents. That would be a good entry potentially. If you want to go to your indicators, go through these pretty quick. I think most of you guys have been on my call before. You know what I like to do with the indicators. Divergence. Maybe I'll trade this long. Don't have good luck with ALGO though. So I went through that kind of fast. That's my divergence, positive divergence, once per bar close, and AA score purchase. You can do, looks like none of these reached the oversold area on the MFI or the RSI. So if you want to use that one, I suggest going to about 24, 25 on the MFI. So what that means is you right click, add your alert, crossing up, say 24, once per bar close, and AA something. And you do something similar with the RSI using the, maybe instead of the 30, use a 35. And if you want to go for the trend, Chandelier Exit, shoot yourself back in the past to 815 and get in here. If you lack a time machine, you'll probably have to set an alert on the Chandelier Exit. And there you go. One thing I do like about this is it won't, actually it's a good and a bad thing. It won't give you another buy entry until it gives you a sell, which means it's going to give you a sell on a reach, on a pullback, and then, you know, a buy on what it sees as another trend starting. So, you know, here you got, you know, it goes up slightly, 2.3%. Then it pulls back a little bit, not much. You know, just like a 0.5%. And it goes up, you know, 6%. That's a really good entry. You know, and this one at 8:30, I just showed you, is a pretty good one too. So yeah, trying to catch, doing trend trading when the market's this low towards the bottom of the range is, you know, can be useful. I can't really criticize it over dip trading, because with the dip, sometimes it just keeps dipping. So, okay, any questions on algo?
I have a question as far as the settings you got on your TDFI.
Okay,
What are your settings?
I'm tinkering with these, but go to defaults, you'll see they're a bit higher. Yeah, see 13, 13, and 13. The SMA length, and the look back. But since I trade off the 5-minute chart so much, I felt like it was too slow, so I changed them. I don't recommend this yet because I haven't used it enough to test it. But I reduced them pretty drastically to 5 on the look back, and then you see 7 and 10 on the others. So, okay. Any other questions on algo? Okay, let's do one more. We did our short already, so we've looked at 2 AA scores. Let's see, let's look. My other sorts I like to do are the long-term sentiment, which is what people are talking about on Twitter. You can get the full explanation here. The Elder Impulse Daily, which is a technical indicator, combines a couple other indicators. Again, you can find that one here. We've got 17 bullish on the Elder Impulse and 65 on the long-term sentiment. So since this one has fewer, I'll sort it by this, the Elder Impulse, and I'm looking for matches. I want to look at if both the sentiment and the technicals line up. I want to investigate that further. Got a chat question. Oliver asking XRP. I discussed that in some detail when we first started, Oliver. I think you might have been a little late. But I didn't look at the chart necessarily, so maybe we'll look at that chart. Actually, it's number 1 here on this sort. So we've looked at algo already. Yeah, let's go ahead and look at that XRP. Or did we look at this? No, I can't remember. because I've got the Chandelier Exit on it. Little help here. Did we go over this chart or do we just talk about the lawsuit? Or did you guys just
I
zone
think
out?
it was, I think it was just a lawsuit.
I thought, okay, good. I'm not losing my mind. All right, thanks for that. All right, on the hour chart. Yeah, since the 16th, last week, it's up 60%. On the 5-minute, had a pretty good drop, probably from the bad economic data, but recovered a lot of it. So it was down 18%, now picked up 10% back. So might be coming back. Support right here, right around here at 46.5 cents could be a good entry on a price alert. On our indicators, divergence, something pumping like that can be a little scary to short, but this would have been a pretty good one here, but these were bad. So keep that in mind if you're looking to short this. I like shorting XRP, but not sure if I'm gonna do that now. These bullish divergences obviously have done pretty well. Even this one here that was a little too soon, is in profit over 7%. We like that. And obviously these did really well. So, bullish divergence has been good in the recent past. Chandelier exit entries on the bullish side have been pretty good. Yeah, caught this one. And yeah, obviously these took a while, but they did pretty well. Yeah, I would have gotten out this one here with 5% and this one quite a bit more if you stayed in. So both of these indicators are looking good. And yeah, this dip on the MFI and this dip too, both of these did really well, on retraces and recoveries. So, an alert on the MFI would be another option as well. So, and Oliver, if you want to hear what I said about the lawsuit, you'll have to catch the recording. So anyway, well, we're at about 35 minutes, which is where I like to keep it on Fridays. Any questions? Any other coins to look at? Okay, chat question. And Oliver's asking on the Chandelier exit, do I mainly use the 15 minutes? Yes, I do. I've tried to use it on shorter time frames and it hasn't worked very well, but I do like it when I'm doing trend trading, and sometimes I use it for ladder buying or confirmation if I'm using another indicator. So there are dozens of trend-based indicators on TradingView, half trend, super trend. It's a lot of them. So this is the one I like the most. But I can't necessarily say it's better than any of the others. It's also alert friendly, which is another reason I like it. Yeah, you can right click. And another thing I like, if I'm going to be trading this, throughout the day, you can do this one, direction change. So if you want to trade it each direction, it has that option. Okay, any other questions? All right, well, I will wrap it up here then. And thank you so much for joining me on a Friday afternoon. If you're watching on the recording, thank you for that too. Hope to see you live next time. But check out the opportunities in the comments below. They help fund the channel. If you're a Carbon member, you can stick around for the next Zoom. Should start in a couple minutes. Thanks. Have a good weekend.